The future to come in 20 to 30 years. Can it be predicted in the times of global uncertainty? How to map out the contours of the future so that they are more clear and bright. And what can be done by those who are today called the next generation?
Watch in today's program an artist who paints joy. Street art graffiti artist. What if I was given the opportunity to paint Almaty? Of course, I love my Almaty, but some houses just need to be painted.
Осында сурет салып тек сұранып тұрған сияқты. Түрлі түсті болатын шығар деп ойлаймын.
They can be painted in a variety of colors, and there are a lot of such houses. As a result, everyone would feel better because color creates a mood.
Береді адамға.
Yerzhan Tanayev is a street art and graffiti artist. He was educated at the Tansykbayev Almaty College of Decorative and Applied Arts and at the Zhurgenov Kazakh National Academy of Arts. He is the member of the Tigrohaud crew squad, which has successfully implemented art projects in various cities of the Republic.
I
was 5 years old. I didn't even go to school when my sister, who worked at the school, offered me to take part in the competition. Since my childhood, I've loved to draw, and for this contest, if I remember correctly, I carried a drawing of a toy car. They gave me a pen with sparkles, and it was the first award for my work. The turning point for me was participation in the Pushkin Readings Contest when I was a 9th grade student. I became the winner of the grand prize. I gained self-confidence, and after the 9th grade, I decided to enter the art college.
Мен ең бірінші жасаған көшеде ол аниме болады, аниме мультсериал.
My very first street art was a samurai, the hero of the anime series. When creating it, I used two colors, black and red, and added white chalk to them. In the end, that was a samurai against the background of the red sun, with details circled with white chalk to give them brightness.
Соны бейнелеп, сол ақмелінің кейбір жеріне сондай жарықтарын беріп шыққанмын. Сол дос балам екеуміз
A friend of mine helped me in this. He is not an artist, just an anime lover. Later, I learned from him that our drawings aroused interest among passers-by, who took pictures for memory. I can say that this case inspired me.
Сөйтіп айтқан болатын, ол да маған өте бір жақсы әсерін тигізді десе болады. Қызығып ұнатқан, ол өзіміздің қазақтың жігіті, өзіміз үлкен жасы біз.
I got interested in the works of our Kazakh guy, who was a senior student at my college. His name was Conan. The designs of his works were interesting and very impressive.
Қызықты жұмыстары болатын. Солар қатты әсер етті. Осындай туындыны ол шетелдің өнері болса да біздің.
It is surprising that he has been able to introduce our ethnic style into the art that originated abroad. Therefore, we called our team Tigrohaud. We decided to combine the traditions of the ancient Sacs and modern trends in our work.
Қазақтың өнерінен алып, сол кездегі заманауи өнер еді, граффити, сонымен араластырып бір қызық туындылар жасауға бел буғанбыз.
Being third-year students, we began to show interest in hip-hop, breakdance, and rap. They are just one of the elements of graffiti. There was such a youth festival. We watched it and thought that we would be able to take part in it next time. The artist can change the materials with which the drawing is applied. He can paint with either oil or watercolor paints. He can use aerosol cans for his drawings as well. Having taken note of this, we set to work. It was very interesting.
Баллондармен де салға болады деп сөйтіп бастап кеткен болатынбыз. Өте қызықты болды.
art of graffiti was greatly influenced by the hip-hop genre. Many artists try to draw portraits of famous rappers, and they start by drawing portraits of American rapper Tupac. In 2007, when we started, there were 4 of us. Now there are only 2 left. Me and my friend, Akali Ali Zakir. After the Youth Urban Festival, we were invited to a festival dedicated to the Asian Games, where we took first place. Instead of a computer, they gave us a box of aerosol cans for first place. So, it was these spray cans that gave impetus to our further studies in street art. In the student years, it was problematic to buy cans because of the high price. Therefore, we used the award to create street paintings.
Көшеге сурет салуға арнадық. Өсе келе түсінгеніміз неге өзіміздің абайды.
Over time, we began to think, why don't we make a portrait of Abai and other Kazakh famous personalities? But when we started to draw it, many people perceived our works as an act of vandalism. Without waiting for the result, both the old and the young asked us what kind of monster that was. But when we finished our work, these same people shook our hands with delight.
Үлкен кісілер де болды, жастардан да болды. Бірақ дегенмен жұмысты бітіргеннен кейін қаншама халық қолымызды қысып, жылы лебіздерін білдіріп жатты. Бір жайт бар.
I recall one case. We were painting in the yard. For this, we do not have to take permission. The exception is the option if it is prohibited to draw on that wall. One day, we started to make a portrait of a little girl and create an abstract composition near her. An adult man, Russian, came up to us and asked, "Do you draw it yourselves?" "Yes," we answered. "Nobody pays you money for this, and you buy these cans at your own expense, don't you?" "Yes." "And if I gave you 2,000 tenge, will this not upset you?" he said. "Fine," we answered joyfully. That was the story. This man lived not far away and watched us from his window. Before us, there used to be a gray, non-appealing wall, so he thanked us.
Мен тереземнен көріп тұрам осы туындыны. Оған дейін тек сұр қабырға болатын. Мынау енді әдемі болды ғой деген ниетпен бергені ғой.
The very first work for which we were given money, we did when we studied at college. At that time, there were still 4 of us. A girl asked us to draw a portrait of a guy she liked. It was winter, and the metal can was sticking to my hand all the time. While wearing gloves was inconvenient to draw. The drawing process was as follows. You draw for 2 to 3 minutes. You warm yourself for 2 to 3 minutes. So, alternately, we created that portrait. It was high, and we did not use a ladder. Stood on turns on the back of each other, drew sitting on our knees, and sometimes even lifted each other up. This was our first order. For it, the girl gave us her scholarship. That was also an interesting story. By the way, we completed that portrait within just 1 day.
Сол кездегі бір стипендиясын берген болатын бізге. It's time that I know. Есірткіге жол жоқ деген сурет салған болды.
Say no to drugs. I remember we painted this big picture. Its length is 4 meters and the width is 10 to 15 meters. We wanted to reflect the complete negative side of this disaster and to show where such a road will lead you if you choose it. Ali painted a monster. We gave him the name Say No to Drugs. We drew it for about a week and spent 2 to 3 years supply of spray cans for this work.
Сияқты бір оймен салған жұмыс болған болатын. Негізі стрит арт болғаннан кейін, ол суретті көшеде салғаннан кейін, оның иесі де халық.
Basically, the main master of street art is the people. They decide how to react to it. Sometimes our paintings are painted over immediately the next day. And we take it for granted because you can't take these pictures with you. Once we painted a portrait of Kazakh. When people managed to paint out that work, I was very disappointed. We went and updated the portrait.
Суретін салғанбыз көшеге. Соның бетін бояп кеткен кезде енді маған көңіліме тиді. Барып оны қайттан жаңартып кеткен болатынбыз. Талдықорған қаласында
In Taldykurgan, we painted portraits of cosmonaut Aydin Aymbetov and people's favorite, Golovkin. A huge portrait of a bai was made in Kostanay in a bai street. In Oktябрь, we painted a bride with baursaks. In Nur-Sultan, we mainly created compositional paintings rather than portraits of specific celebrities. A large portrait of Al-Farabi was made in Almaty, and this is one of our largest works. We also painted Kunayev. This graffiti is in Almaty as well. Once we were in Karangandi, we finished our work, we had free time and a little paint. The next day, after the duel between Mayweather and McGregor, we went outside to paint them. The children who walked by immediately recognized them and said, "Oh, this is Mayweather. Oh, this is McGregor."
Mayweather ғой деп, мынау McGregor ғой деп жүгіріп жүрген болатын. Мұқалидың сол түнгі Алматы деген өлеңі.
I really like Mukhagali's poem, Night Almaty. I painted a picture on this topic on the wall of a multi-story building. I painted an apple and wrote lines around it.
Ай келіп асылғанда, нұр жанады аспанның жұлдыздары Алматының үстіне шашылған ба деп.
Арыстандай айбатты жолбарыстай қайратты, қырандай күшті қанатты мен жастарға.
Мағжан Жұмабаевтың Мен жастарға.
And I also made a picture on the poem by Yerzhan Tanayev. I believe in the youngsters. I painted it on canvas. Still, it was not possible to create that picture on the wall. The main thing for us, whatever the place or space within which we work is, having done everything beautifully, to leave a pleasant visual impression. This can be achieved using bright colors.
Олар арқылы жетуге болады. Енді біздің өнеріміз қазір көбінесе
I perceive our art as a colorful patchwork quilt, kurak korpe. Ethnic style is not only an image of an ornament, a yurt, or a house. I think that in modern art, we can harmoniously introduce both color and style of the same ornament, yurt, or patchwork.
Түстерді, реңдерді қолдану арқылы осындай бір заманауи суреттер жасауға тырысамыз.
All this is done so that the younger generation has an opportunity to receive much not only from foreign artists but also from us. Today, we are developing precisely in this direction. Our most important task is to go abroad with our works, to show there what we are capable of. That is why we often use national style in our works to give them uniqueness. For us, a good example is our teacher, Kazakh Joly. He is a very modest person. He behaves simply in creative and everyday life. We are often told that we imitate him. It doesn't scare me. As Matisse said, if you like an artist and you draw like him, don't be afraid of this. You can always get out of the shadow and style of this master. I really like Matisse.
Егер бір суретші ұнап, соған ұқсап салатын болсан, егер сен мықты болсан, оның қарамағынан дейме, содан шыға аласың дейді. Оның стилінен өзің шыға аласың дейді. Анри Матисс ұнайды өзіме. Михаил Врубель деген суретші бар. Мәскеуге, Питерге барған кезде жұмыстарын
I also like Mikhail Vrubil. When I was in Moscow and St. Petersburg, I saw his paintings. Prior to that, I looked at these works in the catalog when I was at college and at the academy. Of course, there is a huge difference between the original and the copy. In realism, you can imagine in advance, down to the smallest detail, what you are going to ultimately portray. But working in the abstract direction, you do not know when and how the work will end. Here, a lot depends on your feelings. I consider myself a happy person since I do my favorite work, which also pays my bills. There are small successes and big plans for the future. I want people to say, this is Yerzhan Tanayev, so that my creative work would be successful not only in Kazakhstan, but also throughout the world.
Менің творчестволық жұмыстарымды бағаласа деймін.
In 2019, Yerzhan Tanayev and his colleague Ali Zakir received a prize from the First President's Foundation for a series of mural artworks. They spent all the money on the purchase of paints. Yerzhan plans to participate in new art projects. He dreams that his works, painted in the style of graffiti and street art, adorn all the big cities of Kazakhstan and eventually appear abroad.